Broadcasting live from the heart of the Duke City. It's time for a great afternoon of sports entertainment talk. Get ready for in-depth discussions on everything from the court to the field, mixed with the business and culture that orbit the sports world. Whether it's the latest blockbuster trade or the societal impact of sports, two men on with your hosts, Van Nunley and Fred Slow, with producer Isaiah Johnson on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Hello, Albuquerque. It's Tuesday. You know what that means? Well, it's actually a throwback Tuesday. It's Throwback Tuesday. You know what that means? That means former co-host and producer of this show, Chris Burnett, joins us. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, brother.
Man, this is like my studio home away from home when I'm not in my podcast studio. It just feels like, you know, like a nice shirt that you like to wear, you know?
When you're not also on the road in one of your Comic-Con on the road studios.
Oh, man, right?
Broadcasting your nerd culture.
Nerd.
Isaiah Johnson making the show go around.
Doing my best.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Chris Burnett, host of the 10 Drink Minimum podcast, voice of Duke City Championship Wrestling, NWA New Mexico, personal friend of mine, former co-host and producer of this program, and he is back because Van's not here.
Boo.
We're all right with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all right with it.
Yeah, who knows what he's doing?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So me, I know.
Who could know?
Yeah. Who could publicly know? Nah, keep that one tight. How's the podcast?
You know what, man? It's been, killing it as of late. Had some, some high profile guests. We've had the owner, one of the new owners of Marble Brewing, Boyce.
Let's go.
Last Sunday. Then before that,
hey, did they mention the beer that I pitched?
No. What did you pitch?
Burnett and the Boys. It was this idea I had.
Shut
where
up.
You get a 6-pack and one of them says Burnett and the other one just says the Boys. I thought it was a clever idea.
I'm in.
All right. So they didn't bring that up, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that one probably got cut and is on the cutting room floor,
Right.
I'm sure.
That's all right.
Yeah, and then we've had a couple of the, like one of the mayoral candidates came and sat in.
Which one, Darren White?
No.
Oh.
No. Mailing Armijo. So
how's she doing?
She's doing, I think, well. I
Yeah.
mean, she, I liked what she had to say. I mean, I feel like it's a very pivotal election this year.
I tell you what. So, like, if this was that show, we could have that conversation on this show.
Sure.
But this is not that show for that conversation.
Heck no.
Also, I see her signs places.
Yeah.
As far as the political party that leans that direction, I believe they might be excited.
Yes.
I think I've talked about this before on the air, but my business partner, Darren White, is also running for mayor. And it's it's wild the amount of conversations people have about it. It's obviously some time to come, but it is.
Well, the world's, it's a volatile place these days, but who
the
knows?
World or Albuquerque, because that's really all they handle.
Yes.
Okay.
That is our world, right? Green and red chili, and
as far as my arms can reach.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad the podcast is doing so well.
Oh man, I mean, it just seems like every time something lulls a little bit, I get hit up and it's like, oh, hey, we would love for you to come and do this bigger thing. And I'm just like, oh, all right.
You're talking about lulls, but I know what you mean is every time you want to quit.
Yes.
That's what you mean.
Yes.
How long you been at it? 15 years?
Almost 19.
Isn't that crazy?
In July. Yeah. Next month.
That's older than Isaiah.
Yeah. And, Mark Maron, I've been doing it longer than Maron, and I see he's retiring. So,
well, he surpassed you in ratings. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm okay with it. He had a little more famous of friends starting out. He got a little bit of a jump.
Good circle.
Yeah.
How's broadcasting Duke City Championship Wrestling going?
Dude, that is one of my favorite things on the planet to do.
It's not bad, right?
I get bummed out because sometimes, I have to go out of town. Like I won't be at the next one.
Yeah.
And I get recognized more for that than anything else. I was in an airport in Chicago and some kid was like, he grabbed my arm and was like, thank you for Duke City Championship Wrestling. And I was like, whoa. Phoenix, an airport in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent a weekend in Philadelphia not long ago. It was for wrestling, so it's that target audience.
Okay.
But it's to the point now, NWA New Mexico Duke City Championship Wrestling. Also, big announcement coming tomorrow. We're going to the block. That's right. So we're going July 19th out to the block. So we're super excited about that in Rio Rancho. We'll talk about that at another time. But yeah, out there, and you don't have to introduce yourself to people anymore.
No.
And you go, this is wild.
Yeah.
I told this is not an on-air story, but we've been a pro wrestling company for like 2 years, and I was out doing a thing with Billy Corgan, more famously known from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Name dropper.
Well, that's why this story makes sense here. Is in the world of pro wrestling, he owns the NWA.
Right.
And they, by the way, just signed a deal with Roku, which went public today. So it's a lot of excitement around that. But with that said, we're sitting in this like production meeting and whatever, we're going through like a part of wrestling. And he says, Fred, what do you think? And I go, what? Me?
What?
Like, there's a bunch of people in this room. Like, oh, I guess I'm an authority. Here I go.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. He values your opinion.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I mean, he also has that show on. Have you watched that show on Amazon Prime?
I'm very familiar. Carneyland.
Yeah. Carneyland. That's what it's called.
Adventures in Carneyland.
There it is.
Pro wrestling is our thing. UFC MMA. That's the big one here in town, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw Jones is going to fight. What's this cat's name? Isaiah Aspinall? Is that what it is?
No one knows if he's going to fight this guy.
But they just said that.
They've been saying that, but then he turns around and I mean, he said that he's not going to fight that guy unless they give him FU money.
Oh,
Really?
that's forget him is what you meant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or for him, for you money.
Yeah. No, it's more forget you to everybody who would care if he lost.
Like,
that's how much he'd want to get paid.
What's a number that is that? Is it $1 million?
$300 million.
What?
Oh, wow.
He feels that in order for him to go fight, I mean, Aspinall's got the fastest knockout rate in UFC history. He's also like my age, Aspinall, and Jones is 30, late 30s.
Yeah, but he's only fought 3 times in his 30s, so he should be fine, right?
I'll fight somebody for $300 million.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, John, he's got 1 loss on his record, and that's because he threw an illegal elbow.
Yeah, he went 12-6, right?
Yeah, he's never lost a fight. So for him to go risk it versus Young Cat, he's like, I need enough money guaranteed to the point where I don't care about the legacy.
At $300 million, I think would put him in the mayoral race.
Yeah, that definitely would.
That'd be enough money here. Also, I believe I know his criminal history. I don't think he can run. I think there's some laws against that. Yeah.
Also, that matters now.
Yeah. I can't do it. Gonna have a little. He's caught a charge. That's the point I'm trying to get to. A couple of them.
I'm pretty sure I lived downtown when when the gun one went off. I heard it.
Why did you say one?
Well, it was the discharge after knockouts. Whatever. MMA.
I don't know how many of the stories I know are public, so I don't ever know what to say.
Correct. Yeah. Because you hear him, you're like,
he's the worst.
Okay.
He's like the worst.
I sat next to him one time in a restaurant. Man, but he is, superhuman looking,
Yeah, he's not built right.
No.
Also in the head.
Well, yeah fair enough.
So can this young guy beat him up? Because I'll have a reason to watch. I'll be super excited.
Right.
I don't think so. No,
Ooh.
I don't think so. Also, if you're looking for people with solid records, UFC is not going to be your sport.
No, it is not.
John is one of like 50 of those UFC fighters currently that have got some,
Oh, no, yeah. The UFC fan base and the fighter. Actually, I don't like any of it. Here's a real honest take. Nah.
No, I used to watch it like religiously.
Until what? The fans started to get so bad?
No, it just got really saturated and it was hard to follow everything,
They do an event a week, right?
Yeah, there was too much. They kind of built this whole thing like professional wrestling. They build
too much.
Well, with the pro wrestling though, you at least they build the character over time, and then you like them. And now there's so many fighters, there's so many weight classes. I have no idea.
I have no idea. There was one this past weekend.
Yeah.
UFC something or another, where a friend of the show, Sean or Shane O'Malley?
Sugar Sean.
Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
Did he win?
No, he got choked out.
Oh.
See, the issue with the fighters nowadays is, a few years ago when you had McGregor and these guys are big, it was really popular to get knockouts and be like a kick fighter, throwing kicks.
Oh, like striking.
Yeah. And now there's like a big, Khabib came along.
Oh,
he's wrestling bears.
Yeah,
and
I was
stuff.
about to say he wrestled bears.
What?
Yeah, Khabib, like he trains, he wrestles bears and stuff. Those Russians.
What type of bear?
Not a brown, I wouldn't assume.
No, some Soviet bear. He was the kind of guy that would injure himself attacking you, and he didn't care. Like by the end of the fight, he had won, but he had
Ugh.
injured himself so badly that
Yeah, he dominated the UFC and
Mhm.
retired early. He pulled like an Andrew Luck. But
So I know that part.
yeah.
So, but no, he came along and made wrestling popular. So now basically all the champions are wrestlers.
Well, and then he beat Conor McGregor, and then
twice,
and
right?
then immediately climbed up the fence and jumped into the audience and fought one of the audience members. He didn't get enough.
And now he's basically got like little minions that he's training,
Yeah.
and they're also champions.
It's like you ever play like a fighting video game
Mhm.
and you just
Yes.
keep pressing A or whatever,
Yes.
like even after just on to the next one. It didn't matter.
Oh yeah.
He's that guy. The match was, and the guys he trains are like that. The match starts, they come across, they're going to take a shot at their legs
Mhm.
within 15, 20 seconds, and the other guy can't stop it. And then you just watch a boring fight on the ground until a submission happens.
It is boring, right?
Wrestling UFC is more boring.
I've made some money on the prize picks taking the less on strikes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I didn't know that was like a full on theme. Because in my head, I was like, oh, somebody will get knocked out quick. And then but it's not that. They're just not hitting each other.
Right.
Oh.
Well, that's like old UFC, like the original, like, the Gracies. They would take people to the ground and he would like look and be like, I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden they're like, he tapped out. And you're like, from what?
And then boxing is also down. It's going down the drain like that too.
Been down.
Yeah.
I think like last month there's a boxing event, but we get this part. So there were 3 fights over the weekend. If you were to look up the list for the record for the least amount of strikes thrown in a boxing match, 3 of the top 5 all happened in one weekend.
Well,
Of all time.
Someone was like, well, boxing's done. I was like, well, I think Jake Paul has something to say about that. I mean, do I like what Jake Paul does? No. But does he move the dial? Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
that
Ryan Garcia, Tank.
That Alvarez Crawford that just got announced, that's in September.
Yeah.
That'll be a big deal.
It'll be
Sure.
a very big deal.
Yeah, they'll put that in Vegas. That'll draw.
Well, and Holly, she signed with the Jake Paul group, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, also that Canelo Terrence Crawford fight, we'll make that specials. That's been brewing for like 4 or 5, maybe even longer years. So you're going to need that type of WWE storyline.
Right.
Well, and they're doing it with WWE's partner Netflix. And Netflix is saying, hey, let's put in, what is it up to? 300 million subscribers or whatever?
Right.
We'll just put it in your home. Like, here, you don't love boxing? Ellipses yet.
Well, and someone complained about the Jake Paul thing, and they were like, it's embarrassing to boxing. And I was like, well, hold on a second. In the last 10 years before this fight, when did you watch boxing? And people are like, I didn't. I'm like, exactly. And did you watch this one? And they were like, yes. I'm like, there you go.
The only one they watched was Mayweather McGregor.
Maybe.
Like, that was it.
Yeah. The last time it was kind of a WWE-esque fight.
Well, and Jake Paul, which one's in WWE? Logan Paul?
Logan.
Yeah.
He had a whole thing with John Cena over the weekend, and it was super cool. Like, these guys, as weird and nerdy in Ohio as they are, they're doing it. Like, they got to figure it out.
Oh, they know they know how to turn it. Like, they know social media.
And they know if they ever have to, they use each other.
Yep. Oh,
So
yeah.
They're definitely, when you're talking about marketing geniuses and people who don't care whether it's positive or negative, it's 100% them.
Shoot, I think it's all positive.
Yeah, I mean, even the people that hate, it's like we're still talking about this.
Positive in the bank balance.
Yeah, you hate Jake, you hate Logan, you're still talking about
Well,
it.
Jake wins a thing in a boxing ring. Logan's right there, and he's like expletive, expletive. And then Logan wins a thing in the WWE ring, and Jake's right there, and he's like PG, PG, PG. You're like, okay.
Yep.
And then right there's the Prime logo right in the background.
Exactly. I was going to bring it up about Prime. There was one incident. I may be the only public actual, I don't want to say dispute, but disagreement they had was about something with that, because Jake, it was his boxing match against, it wasn't Tyson. I forgot who the big fight was before Tyson. Jake, was in charge. He had other people that were controlling like the advertisement, and Logan was wanting to have his Prime bottle like somewhere advertised and was wanting to come in with his Prime merchandise.
Is this the Woodley fight or Diaz?
It might
not Nate Robinson.
One of those. It was not Nate Robinson.
Okay.
And I guess Logan was like, really, he thought that Jake was the one who said no Prime is allowed here, and Jake's like, that's not my call. I'm not in charge of who handles that. And I guess they told Logan that he couldn't have anything Prime on, couldn't show the drink. And Logan's won that Prime logo everywhere. So.
How's that not smart? That's pretty stupid, actually.
I would say it's stupid.
You want it everywhere. you know, WrestleMania where, you know, a guy's wearing it and he gets clobbered on a table.
Super sweet.
Yeah.
They had somebody in a Prime mascot uniform one year.
Yeah.
All the time.
Fred and I were there when he
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, when he got smashed through a table.
Was that Speed? Actually, it was Speed.
Yeah,
and you
it
said
was
you didn't
Speed.
know him. Yeah.
Now who?
Speed.
The guy we were talking about, Speed. He was at Royal Rumble this last year.
I hate that guy, I think. Wait, because of Prime. Oh my God, it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
His name is Keese.
I don't know what his real name is.
Speed, it's Darren. Where'd you get Keese from?
KSI, is that right?
Oh, KSI. No, he's annoying, in my opinion.
Is that the same guy?
No.
Oh, then I don't know who we're
Speed's
talking
the
about.
small dude. Or was it KSI in the mascot?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I think KSI wasn't the mascot.
I don't know. I do not know.
Yeah, KSI was the one in the mascot.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Those guys really turn. I mean, again, they moved the needle, man.
Yep.
Hate it, but I'm not that I love it.
And Triple H gets it. He had he was letting Speed, you know, live stream back there. Like backstage.
It's all work.
What is it, the green room?
It's all work.
Not the green room. What do you call it?
Hey, you know what that was? A gimmick green room. Like
No,
that's how they do it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
No, he was on live, and then as
Yeah.
he ran out, he came out in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Triple H was back there with him. Stephanie.
100%. That's all. But I'm saying there's like a gorilla that like you
Gorilla
don't
room.
see.
Gorilla
There's a
room.
gorilla, but then there's a gimmick gorilla.
Right.
Yeah, that's where like the backstage like quote unquote fights are, or whatever it's all in that. They have it figured out. It's
They've got it down.
ultimate form of theater.
I mean, just as good as Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Similar but different. Also, I've never drank a Prime.
No, I have not either.
I've had one because it
And?
was given. It tastes like body armor.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, it's body
that's
armor.
50 cents.
It's not. No, it's actually a little bit more expensive. than
His
that.
was Formula 50, wasn't it? Is that?
Yeah, body armor drinks. It's like it tastes like it's just juice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's everything. They're all just juice.
And Prime.
Mike Rapole, not 50 Cent. 50 Cent made vitamin water.
Really?
Yeah, Formula 50.
50 Cent is vitamin water. Wow.
Well, okay. Vitamin water. If I'm incorrect on this, someone can correct me.
Yeah.
Vitamin
It'll
water.
be-
When they were coming out, they were trying to get recognition, and they got a bunch of celebrities to do commercials for their drinks. And he said, "I'll do one, but I want a percentage of the company, and I want the drink named after me." So they called it Formula 50. And when they sold it to Pepsi, he made more money in that sale.
Coca-Cola, but yeah.
Coca-Cola, yeah.
And he made $700 million from
Yep.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So he signed, so he got $100 million worth of ownership.
Yeah.
And when they sold to Coca-Cola, because they bought it at 7-1, hostile takeover, got $700 million.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What year was this? If it was around 2000, 2001, he should have been almost a billionaire.
So it was 2004.
Oh, yeah. So
Because he
50 ran
wasn't
the world,
famous until 2003.
he ran the world,
That was when he was in the club. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That's where you could find him.
patiently waiting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't, what's the name of the album?
Get rich.
Yeah, Die
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah, Get
what
Rich
is
or Die
that
Trying.
called?
Oh, that's a great album.
The only time we ever needed Van. When we get back from the break, ton going on in the world of sports. Chris Burnett is here. He's the host of 10 Drink Minimum, and he's my friend. We're going to talk about a ton of sports and sports adjacent content. Also, if you're joining us on the live stream, welcome. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Welcome back to Two Men On. NBA Finals are tomorrow night. Is that right, Isaiah? Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Are you guessing?
Yeah, because there's they get more days off in the finals than usual. But I think
It is tomorrow.
yeah, it sounds about right.
So I was like, well, how do we transition to basketball? We just got done talking about boxing and combat sports.
Right.
We talk about DeMarcus Cousins. So he's down in Puerto Rico playing basketball right now. You remember?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Big D Cuz. I don't think anyone calls him that.
No.
So he's down in Puerto Rico playing basketball, and he just tries to fight the building.
Heck yeah.
This dude is crazy. Crazy. And if you've ever seen, also, there's a lot of NBA and NBA adjacent dudes. In the Puerto Rico League. There's also a bunch of Puerto Ricans. They're not big people.
No.
Physically.
No.
He's just swinging on them. So some fans were coming at him, throwing drinks at him, getting weird on him. And he just loses it.
Why do you think he want to go to play basketball in Puerto Rico? You think he still wants to play basketball, or you think he needs some money?
Why not both?
Probably a little bit of both.
It's pride.
Okay.
You think it is? Is that a good
Yeah.
league?
I don't know if I would say super good, but I mean it's paying him something. But I'm sure there's also some type of marketing or something that's got to be behind it, because he got paid a lot.
Yeah. Is the European League now so big now that they're like, nah?
Well, if you give me the option to go to Puerto Rico or go to Europe, I'm going to Puerto Rico. That's way closer.
That's true. And Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When everyone down there super speaks English. I guess everyone down there also in Europe speaks English too, but
Yeah, in the European League, if they're good enough to go to the NBA, they're gonna leave.
yeah.
True. Yeah.
But it is they've got strong fan bases there. They pack out arenas for sure.
In Puerto Rico or in Europe?
Both, I'm sure.
I think both. I think basketball's packed out everywhere.
Yeah. It's kind of really on its way up at this moment.
I think it's as popular as it's ever been.
Yeah. Agreed.
And this fight started when DeMarcus Cousins walked up to a fan and snatched a lollipop out of his mouth.
What?
I'm not joking. That's fighting words if I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Can't reach your chain? Snap your lollipop.
You can't grab food out of someone's mouth. That's a thing. I mean that's fighting right there, right?
Yeah.
And he's a big man.
He's a big man.
Was the fan very big or no?
He was Puerto Rican.
Oh, so no.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Also, I'm in this similar position in life where I've often thanked God for giving me a body that's a hammer this size that I can use to swing at anything.
Mm-hmm.
But terrifying if DeMarcus Cousins walks up on you while you're sitting courtside and he snatches the lollipop out of your mouth.
Well, so I'm looking here, and I know you saw the video too, Fred.
Yep.
Chris, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
So he's walking out of the tunnel.
Oh, this is the second video.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, you didn't see the lollipop snatch.
Well, he reaches and grabs something out of this guy's mouth too. So maybe he was just lollipop snatching.
Hey,
He's a habitual food mouth grabber guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it 100% would make sense that there was another incident before this one, because he's got a guy, I'm sure it's his friend, walking with him, and there's police officers already behind him. And in this one, they tackle him immediately.
And Blow Pops is upset about Blow Pop Night getting all embarrassed now.
Was it really Blow Pop Night?
Tootsie Roll Company can't handle this.
Dozen egg night.
Wild promotion here at let me get you the name of the venue. Hold on. Wild promotion here at GBO Airlines Arena. What? What's GBO?
No idea.
What? I can't name a city in Puerto Rico.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, and they're one of our territories.
Yours?
No, the United States.
Not a one. San Juan is
San Juan. That's right. Yeah.
Outside of that,
no idea.
Miss me.
If someone said a name, I'd be like, okay, I'd believe it.
And I don't think any of them are big.
No,
there's no way any of them have 500,000 people.
I don't think Puerto Rico's big.
That's touche.
Yeah,
big enough for a professional basketball league. With
fair enough.
Sponsored lollipop night.
I mean, you're definitely bussing around though. You're not. There's no flying involved there, unless you're going out of Puerto Rico.
With the way hurricanes just pop up down there, I'm taking the bus.
Yeah.
So if you snatch a lollipop out of a dude's mouth and try to fight him courtside in the NBA, I mean, what, 50 games?
Oh, yeah.
Puerto Rico is going to be back out there on Thursday.
You're going to have a Pistons, the Malice at the Palace kind of.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
This is the can't come up with an A word that rhymes with airlines. This is the assault at the GBO Airlines. That's a wild way to start a fight.
Yeah.
I guess they were throwing drinks at him or something.
I mean, if Ron Artest was in Puerto Rico, maybe it would be maybe it'd be fair. Maybe the other teams need to get Ron Artest, or I'm sorry, Meta World Peace. My bad.
Yeah, so they actually in the video they're not throwing anything at him until he reaches and grabs whatever he grabbed out of that guy's mouth.
They said it was a lollipop.
And then that guy he actually grabbed at is one of the main ones who threw his drink at him.
If you look in the background, you're seeing some crazy dudes like Ronaldo Balkman and like Gallinari's there, and you're like, these dudes are still hooping, like all these years later.
Wow.
Like, I want to go to Puerto Rico. Hey, you know, you and I live in the pro wrestling world.
Mm-hmm.
You know how fans show up to like all these legends to get autographs and stuff? That's what this feels like to me.
No kidding. Well, it's like
you walk up to Gallinari, you're like, hey, I need you to sign this thing from 2008.
Did he do something to Ice Cube? He couldn't get in the big three. I mean,
oh, that's a good reference.
I just type in DeMarcus Cousins right away. It goes Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, I'm looking at it. Okay.
Now, also, there's an off-the-air conversation to be had about his behavior before snatching this lollipop.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll say he probably referenced a part of his body as replacing that lollipop.
Yeah, I saw him grab a certain part of his body.
Similar to Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Very similar. Now, not similar to Tyrese Halliburton's celebration after game 1 against the Knicks. Not similar to that, but choking is a part of it.
Okay.
I was going to say there's a little correlation.
There's a little correlation.
Yeah. I mean, but that was a throwback to the Reggie Miller times.
All right, I got a list here. You ready?
Yeah.
Gallo, Ronaldo, Balkman, as I mentioned. JaVale McGee's on a team.
Okay.
Jahil Okafor, Brandon Knight. I mean, this is like a 2010 fever dream down here in Puerto Rico.
What's going on there?
Fareed, Solinger, Whiteside, Pierre Jackson, Harkless.
Well, think about this, man.
Montrezl Harrell.
They're retired, right? They're retired, right?
Yeah.
And someone's like, man, you still want to play basketball? Yeah, I kind of do. Let's go play in like paradise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Derek Williams on a team. Darius Baisley.
Hassan Whiteside, he's too young to be on one of those teams.
He's on one of these teams.
Wow.
This is so funny to me.
Interesting. Wow. I had never thought about,
All right. Also, I just looked up Hassan Whiteside. This dude looks like after Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk. This dude he should be in the not natural games. I never seen a dude look so big.
Yeah, he's massive.
He's massive.
Yeah, like the same age. He should not be in Puerto Rico. That's sad. Well, it's not sad, but
hey, I mean, who knows what they pay?
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Oh my God, dude! Look at the size of his arms. I never seen it. Oh, this is too loud for my computer. But his shoulders look like what you would like if you were making an NBA player in NBA 2K, and it gave you where you were like defining their body. This is the max on shoulders.
Burly.
Oh my gosh. His biceps are bigger than the ball. This is unreal to me. There's zero drug testing in Puerto Rico.
Well, I mean,
for that.
Yeah. So I looked it up. The average pay for a player in San Juan, Puerto Rico for this league is around 37,000, and on the higher end, 54,000. That, I don't know how you would, and that's a year.
I make so much more than that.
Right. But you don't get to snatch the lollipop out of random people's mouths.
I think the cost of living, isn't it like, I always hear people mention when they say they want to travel the world and live different places and nice spots for cheap. I always hear Puerto Rico come up. So I think the cost of living there is like, well, I think if you go there with that much money you have here, I think you get richer.
All right. So are you talking about the cost of living in like New York? Or are you talking about the cost of living in like Dothan, Alabama?
No,
it's true. Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Well, yeah. But what part of the U.S. are you comparing it to? Because
here,
like here in Albuquerque,
well, really just U.S. in general.
So it says here, approximately 13% higher than the United States living in Puerto Rico. Because these islands, have a ton of like weird expenses, like in housing and transportation and like all those imports and stuff. Groceries are utilities are wild
Expensive, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of products that they definitely can't grow, or they have to bring in. I mean, but I'm sure DeMarcus Cousins can, he's got no problem affording that.
All right, so I got some numbers here.
Okay.
1-bedroom apartment in city center, which I guess is San Juan. Oh, it's only $1,200 a month. That's not terrible.
Yeah, this one says the average rent is $850
Oh, geez, that's better than
for a 1-bedroom.
It just says housing, especially significantly cheaper, with average rent in San Juan around $850 a month.
In San Juan or outside?
In San Juan.
See, that's where you get caught. Like
it says, while certain costs like utilities and some groceries can be higher.
I'm not trying to live anywhere in Puerto Rico where I regularly have to commute. I think I'm not trying to sound like it's a third world country, because I don't think it is, because it's a territory. But I don't think they have like the best road system and stuff.
I think one of the Paul brothers lives in Puerto Rico.
So here's the thing. Lots of celebrities claim to live in Puerto Rico because the income tax is only like 4%. So if you identify Puerto Rico as your whatever, and I think to live there, you only have to live there. What is half of the year? 300. How many days are in a year? 365.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have to live there. Whatever is half of that. 100.
We'll go 180.
Actually, both Paul brothers live there.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's not just them. It's like a ton of celebrities.
Do you think maybe now it could turn into this like paradise place where they build it up? Now they got a basketball league.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
If my life were to significantly change, and it was a thing where me and Chris Burnett needed to move to an island to do a podcast together with no other individual, we could go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think I can make one of these basketball teams.
Oh, yeah. Dude. Fred is a giant. I don't know if people have seen him. Yeah.
What I got to do? Spread the floor, run the lanes. Done. I got high basketball IQ.
Who's taller, Isaiah? Fred or you?
Fred's got me by a couple inches.
Dang.
Yeah,
in height.
Well, also, who's better at hooping? Let's go.
I believe if we had a 3-point shootout, I think I'd get you. Or free throws, I think I'd get you.
Those are the two I know I would win.
Yeah. Fred does the the granny shot.
The old man thing. Yeah.
Rick Barry style.
I can get hot from 3 for sure.
Now, is it like horse, or are we just talking like we're going around the horn?
Ooh.
We should do this video. Loser leaves their shoes on the court.
Horse is weird because it's very psychological.
Yeah, that's why I think I would win.
What's the go-to move in horse?
Behind the backboard.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Bounce shot.
Oh, big time.
Eyes closed.
Off the garage.
Opposite hand.
Yeah, see things like that. Yeah,
that's where you get got.
That's a home field advantage sport right there.
Now, what's Fred doing? Bringing out an exercise bike?
Right.
From the saddle?
I'm going to throw it up on the roof, catch it while jumping, and throw it off the glass.
Correct.
But also, if someone does something like that and they make it, kudos to them.
Yeah. Well, they've practiced that.
Yeah, at that point.
There's a bunch of other ones too where it's like take off one shoe.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
Not one shoe.
I'd like to see a game of horse between Luka and Steph.
Oh wow.
Luka has done just live, just chatting. He's done some insane things, just like pregame.
I mean, that's all Steph does.
Yeah. There was one where Luka was standing by the scores table and he looks at him and he says, "One try, watch this." And he throws the ball. He shoots the ball so high in the air, it lands in front of the rim, and the bounce goes in.
Did you see the video recently? And Steph's one of these guys where they have to do a free throw shot with like a crystal ball, and if they make it, I mean, any which way, the ball hits the ground and shatters.
Okay,
and then a bunch of people try and make it, and then one guy gets up there and he forgets, and he does his dribble.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then you see his face and he's like, oh.
Hey, I know my closeout shot for Isaiah in our horse game.
Okay.
I'm only using it on E though. HORSE. And you're recording, Chris?
Yeah.
Final shot. Take the lollipop out of Chris's mouth.
Oh.
2 minutes on. 95.9 FM and AM 610. Hey, sports animal.
This
All right, welcome back to 2 Men On. Talking a lot of NBA. Chris Burnett's here.
Howdy. It's exciting to be here back in the studio, man.
It's not so bad.
No.
Now, Isaiah, you don't know this. Chris and I have been friends for a long time, and he's only ever had me on his podcast one time.
Twice.
That might be true. But definitely to talk wrestling every time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude loves wrestling.
Big fan.
Love it too. I
Yeah.
love it too.
Voice of NWA New Mexico.
It's wild. I will say it's really wild, and I didn't think I'd expect this. But after all the sports that I watched growing up and stringing off, becoming huge in NBA with Kobe, and then the NFL with the multiple players that had been on the Cowboys, there's still no figure that's a bigger deal to me than the Undertaker.
Oh.
I mean, even just as far as like who I am, like
Larger than life.
Hate that guy.
like back like in high pressure situation. I mean, I don't know, a lot of situations I always like, of course, through the storyline you see your hero get put in different situations and see how he handles things, and I always just like, if this was Undertaker, he'd be just chilling.
Well, he was a victim of circumstance, because Paul Bearer told him that he killed his brother Kane.
Right.
That was a real tough one.
I have an actual Undertaker story.
We give it.
All right. So when I was a little kid, I was really big into Jim Crockett Promotions, and that was the before WCW. That's what it was called.
I hung out with Dave Crockett in Philadelphia all last week, and it was awesing.
That's amazing.
It was awesome.
And there was a tag team called the Skyscrapers, and when Sid Vicious got injured, they subbed in a guy, and he called him Mean Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Mean Mark Calloway.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
And I was a big fan. So in Clovis, New Mexico, when WCW came to the high school, my grandmother got us tickets. I am the only person rooting for Mean Mark Calloway, and I'm yelling, "Give him the heart punch!" And like after the match, I see him and Tommy Wildfire Rich sitting up at the top of the bleachers,
Such a good reference.
kind of out of the eye shot. I climb up there and I was like, "Mean Mark, can I have your autograph?" And he laughs and he goes, "Sure, kid. Give me about 10 minutes." So I go down to the bottom of the bleachers.
Yeah.
And I wait, and then him and Tommy Wildfire Rich walk past me with their stuff, go get in the car and drive away.
So sweet.
And as soon as he came out as the Undertaker, my friends were like, "This is awesome." I was like, "That guy can burn in hell for real." I do not love him
for real.
I'm so mad. And then I ended up meeting Glenn Jacobs years later, Kane.
That's Kane. He's the mayor of Knoxville County.
Yeah. And I told him that story, and he laughed, and he's like, "You need to meet him again and tell him that story. He will love that."
He lived the gimmick.
Yeah.
We're doing our I-9 varsity when we get back, boys. Victor Wembanyama is now a monk.
I saw this.
I don't know if you guys are up to speed.
Yeah.
But it's the I-9 varsity of monk nicknames for Victor Wembanyama whenever we get back. It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program where Isaiah just told me off air we have to bump the I-9 to the top of the hour because he wants to take calls. This is how we're doing it now, Isaiah? You make me bump the I-9 for friend of the show, Howard?
Wow. Friends of the show first.
Thoughts, not first. Welcome to the program, Howard.
You know, when I finish this call, you're going to be happy you took it.
I'm ready.
You know, you guys are talking about wrestling, and you kind of stirred some of the memory banks in my head. You know, DCW you're not the first promoter in this town to have a weekly show. Well, Mike London's Championship Wrestling in the late 60s and early 70s used to have a Sunday night show at the Civic Auditorium.
Yep.
So I, as a young kid, used to go to those with my mother and stepdad and sit in the nosebleeds. And then when you found out who wasn't showing up, I'd move down towards ringside. So having said that, we had wrestlers here, like Dory Funk Sr. wrestled out of here. His son, Dory Funk Jr., Terry Funk, they wrestled out of here. Leaping Lanny Poffo, who became Randy Macho Man Savage, wrestled out of here. Then we had locals. We had Ricky Romero was a local favorite. We had some colorful characters like a guy named Apache Gringo and a guy named Cyclone Negro. He used to sit up on the turnbuckle up on the ropes and flip corn tortillas out to the people in the audience just to piss them off.
Wow.
You know, we had the Guerrero Senior wrestle out of here. Gorgeous George wrestled out of here. I saw a lot of these guys wrestle here on Sunday nights. I used to work at the drugstore in Bernalillo and sweep the steps. So I see Mike London come in on Saturday mornings and staple up the card. And on Mondays after school, I'd take that card home. I wish I had those things, man.
Oh, that'd be a souvenir for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, bless you for
losing Howard on the call. But we can continue this conversation because Chris and I might be as informed. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. And there was a forever, because he was partnered with the NWA as well.
Right.
Yeah. So, and at the time it was Sam Munchak and all those guys that were making the NWA go around. And as you're aware, the alliance then at the time stopped in Amarillo.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And Amarillo was where all the talent came out, and then they turned back and went back east.
Well, and then you had all of those guys who went to college in Amarillo at I think it's West Texas A&M now, but I mean, you had the Dusty Rhodes, the Barry Windham, the Dick Murdoch, all those guys played football there. And then, Terry Funk and those guys would be like,
correct.
He'd be like, hey, you guys want to wrestle?
Hey, come on down.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. This is so funny. He passed away in 89. Is that correct?
Who's this?
Mike London.
Oh, okay.
So he ran exactly what Howard was talking about all the way up to, I think, 84.
Okay.
And that's the Civic Auditorium and the rich history of that. But whenever we started Duke City Championship Wrestling, however long ago we started, a little over 2 years, we still haven't had vision for this. I would love to do the Mike London Invitational.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would love to do the championship belt for, and co-owner of Duke City Championship Wrestling, Fernando Gonzalez, is like in the family lineage of Mike London. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a ton of rich history here, but that's the world of pro wrestling. Like, you don't really ever get away from it.
No.
And it is celebrated. But the story that Howard told, I mean, you and I have seen in person where there's 8, 9, 10-year-old at our event, and they'll be there with their father, whose first time was with their grandfather, and the grandfather will be there, and they're all celebrating these exact same stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, the history of this is substantial.
Yeah, it goes all the way back early 1900s. Yeah.
Well, and Mike London, the 50s.
Yeah.
It's the history of here. If the time this is a little off-air conversation, but I've been diligently working on getting some pro wrestling in the Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. I don't know who would be better in an inaugural class than Mike London and Hobo Hank.
Agreed.
Yeah. It'd be as special as anything that's ever happened.
I mean, Ricky Romero, maybe.
Ricky Romero as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then all those stories we just mentioned where it's Andre the Giant was here. It's all those stories. Ric Flair was here.
Correct, yeah.
Let's go. Elianna and Varsity, where we get back, it's the Elianna and Varsity of nicknames for Monk Wimbyama. It's 2 Men On, 95.9 FM and AM 610. Day Sports Animal. All right, welcome back. 2 Men On, it's 5 o'clock. Quitting time for you. We're still at it. We'll be here till 6:15. Sean joins us at 6. Isotopes are at home tonight. It's the only homestand of June.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So do you have to do Pride Night like 6 nights in a row? Like, how does that work?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Right.
You know,
Interesting.
the Rangers don't do it.
No.
Everyone else does it.
Oh, that's right. They're like, nope.
Even WWE, they just line up different colors of Prime bottles.
Branding.
So we're here.
Branding. And then they smash them all.
Today's 99 Varsity is the 99 Varsity of Monk nicknames for Victor Wimbyama because I saw a bunch of videos of him training with Shaolin monks.
Yeah.
Reach out to I9 Sports, League Office 280 at i9sports.com, 505-312-4999. We got a ton going on right now. Flag football, discovery programs and leagues. You can register a team. Soccer leagues, you can register a team. Baseball, you can register a team. Multi-sport discovery program, and of course cheerleading, which is that instructional program. But all these options available to you if you want to get your kids in same day practice, same day play. Big I9 fan.
Oh, yeah, man.
Big I9 fan. All right, should I go first?
Sure.
So the most obvious one to me was Shaolin Stretch.
Okay.
I thought that was a very good Wimbyama nickname.
Okay.
Shaolin being the monk, Stretch being his body.
All right.
Also, if you saw, he shaved his head like a monk.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he's the whole complete. What is that when you live the gimmick? He's the gimmick.
He's the gimmick.
He's the gimmick. Shaolin Stretch is on my list.
See, I thought the easy one would be like the Monk of Dunk.
All right, that's a good one. Monk of Dunk is very good.
See, I thought that was like the, right there. It's right there. Low hanging fruit.
Very good.
Yeah.
Isaiah?
So whenever I hear Shaolin Monk, I immediately always will forever think of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Yep.
Yes.
Because that was the first one I played. Also, the great storyline, and you could play 2-player. And me and my sister went on journeys on that game, and that actually made me the man I am today. Because So with that being said, I'm going to go with that for my name for Victor. And out of that game, I'll always remember the giant serpent.
Okay.
So you're going to call him the Serpent.
The giant serpent.
All right, that's not bad.
All right.
A little outside but I'm into it.
Yeah.
He's like a snake too, because he's got like reach.
All right.
Yeah, no, this is a very good one.
Yeah.
Now, my second one was also going to involve dunking, but because you went with the dunking one, I'm going to try to change it up to block you on one.
Okay.
So it was going to be the dunking llama.
Oh, dude, that's good.
But now I'm going to go with the dribbling llama.
All right.
Because I feel like you already used dunk.
All right.
So give me the dribbling llama.
So for me, I think of, being a monk, you're at peace.
Yeah.
So how about Zen Benyama?
That's maybe the best one. Now, is it Zimbi Wimbiama or is it Zimbinyama?
Zen Ben. How do you say his last name?
Wimbinyama.
Wimbinyama. So Zen Ben one. Yeah.
Yeah, that still works.
Yeah, it goes in there.
I don't hate it.
Right.
Isaiah?
I'm going to go with Liu Kang.
Okay. That's all right. So,
okay.
Because he was a Shaolin monk.
You like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm picking up the what you're putting down here.
Yes. Liu Kang, also the main character of the game, and Victor Wembanyama is the main character.
Okay.
That's very good.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
You got one more?
I do, but I don't know if it's exactly correct, so I might be on a limb here.
Yeah.
Is the Celestial a SWAT anything?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's monkness is godness.
Yeah.
So give me that.
I've got one more. So I always think of like, Shaolin monks like he did.
Yeah.
And they always had, all the karate. And so I always think of Jackie Chan because he always played a monk. So I was thinking the Duncan Master.
Okay, that's not bad either.
Master,
yeah.
So the Drunken Master, the Dunking Master.
Yeah, this is very good.
Yeah.
Isaiah, you got another one?
I'm going to go a cheat code here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to use AI.
Well, to get you there.
The AI says it's got some actually good ones. Zen Blocker is one of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
The Shaolin Tower, the Silk Staff, 7-foot Sage.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Lotus Sentinel.
How about World's Tallest Monk?
Monk of the Paint. I like that one. Wemba the Wise.
Ooh,
also good.
Silent Palm. We got Sky Temple Garden, Bamboo Phantom. I like Bamboo Phantom.
That is a good one.
Yeah, it's very monkey.
Yeah. Windstep Warrior, Master Wembin. That's it.
Yeah, it's going to replace us all.
Yeah, AI is going to replace us. We're doomed, by the way.
I just looked up monk terms and tried to incorporate basketball terms.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, AI is going to take over.
Puns are hard.
They are. But for some people, they just have it. I don't have it.
What about Abby Oop?
Ooh, that's good.
Is that a good one?
Yeah.
I like that one.
That's not bad. I'm trying to think, because there's they make beer too. Monks will make beer. What kind of monk is he? Is he like a Buddhist monk, right?
Monks will make beer.
Yeah, they do. Monks, yeah. I interviewed a monk one time, and yeah, they make beer. Yeah, I don't know why that's the thing. That's associated, but
everyone kind of makes beer.
Yeah.
Is the Friar a fast break? Anything?
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, got one here. The from the texter. The splashed airbender. What is that? I don't know what that means.
Oh, because it's a nerd alert. It's a reference to Avatar: The Last Airbender, who is a monk.
Oh man.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys know about Avatar?
I do not.
No.
Oh no!
I have interviewed one of the voice actors, but
Really?
yeah. Mhm.
That's a great one.
That Damian Clark.
No, it was the guy who played Rufio in Hook. I can't think of his name. Dante Bosco.
Bangerang.
Yep, Bangarang. And that's what I knew him from.
This is how done we are.
Yeah.
So the AI spits out 15, then it says, "Would you like the nickname to be more serious, funny, or stylized like a kung fu movie character?"
Wow.
I can tailor it further.
Goodness gracious.
I'm going to say
Replace
Kung Fu
us
movie.
all.
kung fu movie character. Okay, so here we go.
So the prior of passes doesn't count anymore for me.
The Iron Crane of Paris,
What is that?
Wembin the Sky Monk,
Friar Dunk.
Victor of the Thousand Palms, Silent Fang of the Temple. Let's see here.
No, see, these are not. That's just a list of AI names. These don't have.
Mhm.
These don't have heart.
No. I like when it's all, do you want serious ones?
The Monk of No Passage. Oh, these have descriptions. So yeah, try to enter the lane, he will deny your soul.
What?
The
Wow.
Monk of No Passage.
Huh.
Yeah, so each one of these have a description. So yeah, Wembin the Sky Monk is he walks among clouds and blocks from the heavens.
Wow. Does anyone know why this happened? Like what was
I was thinking that earlier because when guys do things like this,
Mhm.
we immediately assume it's to become a better basketball player. But sometimes these guys are just like, not that they've peaked in life, but I mean,
Mhm.
he's been insane his whole life at the sport. So maybe he's like, I'm bored. Let me go try this out.
it reminds me a lot of like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar move,
Did he do that?
He just, I mean, he went from being Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then he became this very,
Zen
guy, and very serious.
Now, what if Wembanyama is like, there'll be no money, but when you die on your deathbed, you'll receive total consciousness. So he got that going for him, which is nice.
That is nice. He'll know what's up.
And I'm like, hey, Llama, how about a little something, for the effort?
It's a new one. It's like, it's not a rap career. It's, it's not a vodka. It's like, I'm going to be a monk.
It says he had joined the monks for reflection and healing.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Interesting. Is he going to leave the NBA, you think?
Oh, that would be the move.
Oh, man.
Stepping away in your prime to become a monk?
That would be like one of the most that would be a story that would go on forever.
Yeah.
It'd be the story of that guy, Wemby. We never knew what he got to be because he left the league early to go.
Well, hold on, though. Because like Elvis joined the army and he still ended up doing all right.
That's right.
I did not know that. No, but what if he just leaves and never comes back like Calvin and Andrew Luck?
There you go.
Well, neither of them became monks, brother.
Yeah.
Well, nah, but
then Andrew Luck didn't come back, did he?
No, neither one of them came back.
No, they just rode their generational wealth forever.
Right.
Must
be nice. That's what I'm saying.
Which is nice.
You know what? I'm going to go become a monk. And everybody's like, so? Good for you. No need to tell everybody.
I wonder how much goes into that.
Becoming a monk?
Like, what makes you a monk? I bet.
Well, they had to order extra long robes.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Extra rice.
I feel like he doesn't eat that much.
He eats so much.
I bet he does. Yeah. It's probably more than you think. It's not like with what was the swimmer guy? The only one anybody knows.
Michael Phelps.
Michael
which we
Phelps.
Don't know.
Yeah. The amount of calories that guy would eat in a day was just outrageous. And so I got to think it's probably pretty high.
So the NBA, I think, is kind of known for trash talking.
Yeah.
If Victor Wembanyama blocks your shot and he's like, brother, your mind and body,
Yeah. Be at peace.
they're not in synergy.
Not as cool as the Mutombo, but
He's like, I knew what you were going to do when I walked into the gym.
Ooh. Or he blocked your shot and he's like, you are now enlightened.
Got to train on the boards, but you got to train the brain.
Yeah.
He ends up like in Major League,
Mhm.
whenever old boy discovers Jobu.
Oh, yeah.
That's the exact same thing.
Hey, bartender, Jobo needs a refill. Yeah. Great reference there.
Also, with like the coaching that historically has been in San Antonio and
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, and this is the most Spurs thing of all time.
It is because Tim Duncan was like one of the most quietest, greatest basketball players of all time. My friend was like, whenever they write a book about his life, it's going to be called Layup, the Tim Duncan story. He was like, yep.
He might be top 10 all time, but he's definitely top sin.
Yeah.
Get this. So ask AI. Give me good trash talk lines for Victor Wembanyama to say to opponents if he was a monk.
All right, let's go.
Your shot is but a leaf in the wind. I am the mountain.
Okay, that's very good.
That is on.
Did you pull the best one?
And it says translation, you're soft. I'm unmovable.
Wow.
The next one says, yeah, by the way, we're reading our replacement. It says, I do not jump to block. I rise to enlighten.
Yes.
Or he could block the shot and he'd be like, you will need to meditate on this.
Yeah.
This description says, blocks you, then walks away like it was a teaching moment.
Oh, wow.
You've entered the paint seeking points. You shall leave with wisdom after stuffing a layup attempt.
Jeez.
It's crazy that he got so good at basketball that he kind of beat basketball.
Right.
And like Isaiah was saying, like in Mortal Kombat, he's doing the side quest now.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't know. What else is there out there?
What, I need to get the bonsai tree off the side of the mountain?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, you know what? This didn't do it for me. I thought it would.
What skill would you guys go do if you knew you just had infinite time and limitless money?
Lego Master.
Like you said, what was that?
Lego Master.
I would race Le Mans.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's coming on this weekend.
I'd probably go learn like magic or something.
What kind of magic? Also, not trying to be that guy, but culturally speaking, that's not really your people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's why I'd have to be limitless money and rich to do it.
Yeah. You could learn Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, you can do that.
I don't know. Like a race car. I mean, I'm trying to think of some non-cliche things to say.
That's not cliche.
No.
I guess it is.
Definitely not magic. I mean, maybe if you're bored,
Yeah.
super bored, but like racing, like, become like learn how to race cars or do.
I mean, you have to have money to do that.
I think I would,
Yeah, so with money. So like if you just had limitless money and limitless time.
if I had limitless money and I didn't have this weird addiction to attention that drives me to a life of public and fame, Chris Burnett knows exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe I would just make like dioramas for museums or something.
Oh man.
Like I feel like I could do like
you know what you should do is do big train dioramas.
Yeah.
Like, you do the mountainside and then there's like a little town and it's got a little fire
100%.
little fire
Uh-huh. I have that form of Asperger's.
oh okay.
Like whatever it takes to do that, I'm on that spectrum.
Yeah.
You know, like how our parents were never diagnosed with that stuff, like
No.
as kids. Like your dad just collected like buttons, and they're like, "No, this is regular. This is not a weird thing."
Those are his buttons that he loves.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
loves those and beer.
yeah. Don't go in his backyard and mess up his rock stacking.
Yeah.
You go. Are you sure Grandpa was all right? Well,
I told y'all not to bother me
yeah.
when I'm looking at the stamps.
What are you doing? Organizing my baseball cards again.
Yeah.
You know what I'd probably go do in the most non-violent way? I think it'd be a great feeling to be able to have like a sniper and hit a can from like 400 yards
What do
away.
you mean non-violent? There's nothing violent about what you just
Well,
said.
like I don't want to go like why would someone want to master the art of a sniper? And it's like, not to go hunt or something.
Yeah.
Also, super easy. Why don't you give me something cool like matchstick or something?
Oh, what?
Like a matchstick?
Like shoot a matchstick.
Yeah. Like a
Yeah.
pretzel.
Matchstick.
Apple off someone's head.
Is that not what that's called? A matchstick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you like strike a match?
I think
Right.
I'm overcomplicating it. Okay.
But then there's the worst ones where you see like these headlines where it's like retired couples trying to go to every Costco in the United States, and you're like, are they that different that
Hey, as a guy who's been to over 100 Cracker Barrels, I get it. Been there.
Wow.
I bet there's someone that 100% does that with like IKEA.
There's a Costco one and there's a Cracker Barrel one.
Oh, I've been to easily over 100 Cracker Barrels.
Oh, for
easily.
real.
Yeah.
For real.
No jokes. And there's only like 160 something.
Well, and there's the guy that he goes to every Cane's opening. He like travels and then he'll camp out in front of them to be the first customer.
Kane just like, yeah, we'll spot you.
Yeah. He gets free Cane's for life, I think.
You know, if he didn't go to one, somebody would call him chicken.
Ooh. No, sir. No, sir.
There was this movie called Back to the Future 2. You familiar with this piece of work?
I've heard of this
So
IP.
Isaiah, in the movie in Back to the Future 1, none of this is ever established. But in Back to the Future 2, the audience is supposed to know if Marty McFly is called a chicken, he can no longer control his emotions or understanding or behavior. And none of this is laid forth in any part of the movie until the time he is called a chicken and he reacts psychotically.
Okay.
It's arguably the worst movie ever made. None of it makes any sense.
People are going to key your car after this.
If in the first movie they had done it like the high school scene where he's talking to the principal, if he had called him a chicken and you see his blood boil, you'd be like, okay, that's how this works. This is not what filmmaking is. This is not what writing is, Robert Zemeckis.
He only made Forrest Gump. What does he know?
You know, that movie doesn't make as much sense as you think either. Like, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love sports talk.
Have you met fanatics before?
Yeah,
they're gonna shred your tires.
They do that.
Yeah.
If I could do a radio show that was just me making fun of popular things,
Oh yeah.
that would be my show.
You do like 5
All
and then be dead.
be super.
Super dead.
Super. What's that? You don't like famous anime cartoon? No, I don't.
You're gonna pay for what you said about
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
That's hey. You know how those Lukies get.
Oh man.
Now, Avatar got to be spoken of highly at all times.
See, I don't even know what that is, but I would roast it.
Oh, there is a fan base, man.
Avatar, it's like,
Mhm.
I guess it's anime,
It's
but like people,
American anime.
yeah, like
Why? Because of Sigourney Weaver?
I don't get it. Get me out, Chris.
I
You
didn't
get it.
get the reference either.
What? She's the girl in Avatar.
No, you're talking about
Oh,
two
but
different
that's
things.
also the first one. I didn't see the second one.
She's in both of them.
I'm talking about the cartoon.
Of course.
The Last Airbender. He's
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about the movies, which are completely different.
With
things.
Sam Worthington.
There you go.
First one was great.
Yeah.
No, they're garbage.
I'm with Fred on this.
They're terrible.
Dances with Wolves, CGI.
If anybody sat through the second one and watched the whole thing, that means you liked the first one.
The
Because
motivation.
they're both way too long.
Well, they're both too long. The motivation of the first movie, like the MacGuffin of the first movie, is a thing called unobtainium.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to obtain a mineral called
Mhm.
unobtainium.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's the
That's
suspense.
About as lazy as it gets.
Right. Yeah. I mean, ripping off the story Dances with Wolves, also
Yeah.
very lazy.
Also, Manifest Destiny was wild.
See, Fred, Avatar: The Last Airbender is this guy. He's got the ability to control 4 elements, right? So I'm going to ask you which one you'd rather control.
When we get back from the break, it's
Okay.
2 Bit On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Welcome back to Two Men On. For the break, Isaiah was trying to nerd us out, and because Chris Burnett's here, I'm going to allow it.
Oh, man, he was.
All right. You're going to have to smarten me up on a lot of this, Isaiah. Go.
I'll make it very, very simple. Earth, water, fire, and air.
You left out heart.
Captain Planet.
I missed the reference.
Oh, you don't know Captain Planet?
No, these things you said, they're the powers in Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Earth.
Okay, cool. So
Wind. Fire.
So there's a trend here. Nice.
Heart. Yeah.
So this show is just a rip of Captain Planet?
No, I don't believe so.
No.
Okay.
I'm glad you could clarify that, Chris. But
the live action movie is much better than the cartoon.
for
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
oh,
I did that on purpose just to anger him.
yeah, he's trying to make me puke back here.
Yeah, that's a joke. It's not.
So, Fred, you have the ability to control one of these four things. Which one would you choose?
Well,
Air,
Okay.
earth, as in like rock, the ground, just earth substance, fire, and water.
Now define control.
Bend it.
What?
You can like throw it at your enemies, or
You can create it out of thin air. You can pick, not create. You can
I could create
of
air out of thin air.
Well, fire.
wind. You could create wind.
Like if you had the ability, if you had the ability to control Earth, you'd be able to look outside the street and like grab concrete from out of the ground and make it float.
Not that one, because that sounds expensive. Also, I can already control air. If I open the studio door and wave it quickly, you will feel air.
It's true.
But you can't levitate and fly or like
There
shoot
you
an
go.
air burst at somebody.
Are you talking about air or gravity?
Air.
Because what you just said was more gravity.
Well, with air, you remember you push it downwards, you go up. So it's air.
Say that part again.
Like kind of how it's like how jackpot physics work.
What is that reference?
Push force downwards, you rise upwards.
Now, is this a Wimbyama monk thing? What you just said?
Yeah, it's involved. Airbending and monks, they're actually monks. Like Chris said originally. That's how we even got on the topic.
Right.
See how it's all full circle?
So the full circle, which you haven't discussed, is the rock, paper, scissors element of what you're saying.
Right.
So water beats fire. Fire loses. Fire also beats air.
Well,
Air beats fire because if you take air away.
In the show, fire, they have the ability to control lightning as well. That offsets water.
That's electricity.
Right.
Yeah, but it's like an extra special skill. It's like when you do radio, but you can also do play-by-play.
Yeah, it's your extra special skill. You get extra HP for that. Right.
It's like
I get
it's
extra
like
what?
It's like Wimbyama being a monk.
Yeah.
It's like a little side.
But do you think
squirrel.
he's the best monk, or he's new? He's a rookie. He's a rookie monk, right?
Yeah, he's a rookie basketball player, rookie monk. I feel like you're gonna go fire here, Fred. I feel like you're gonna go fire. And actually, no, you're not destructive. So I think you're gonna go water.
In the elemental rock, paper, scissors chain, it goes like this: fire beats wind, wind beats earth, earth beats water, water beats fire. Is this accurate?
I have no clue.
I feel like that's correct.
Yeah.
Nothing sounded wrong from what you just said, but I feel like
All right, if you have fire, wind spreads fire. So wind greater than fire greater than sign wind. And you can't have wind without the moon, which is what? Earth.
well, it's about you though. It's about for convenience for you.
Dog, I'm picking
Not-
up.
You're gonna pick the most, but like, are you really gonna go around like trying to battle people, or would it just be like, oh, if I could airbend, like I'd be able to do this?
What do you mean battle?
Like why? So like why? Say fire does beat. Say water, like water does beat fire.
Water beats fire. That's accurate.
What benefit would you have of being able to control water if there's no fire for you?
I'd be
to have to
dodging
battle?
earth. That's what I'd be doing. Running the other way. Also, when you say water, like Aquaman, like you can
Pretty much. I haven't even seen Aquaman, but I can't assume it's far off.
You get to look like Aquaman because that's
Yeah, your
that's,
hair.
that's a plus.
Your hair immediately grows.
I
Yeah.
can already fly. That's a given.
Okay, so air's out.
Air is out. Air is lame. Air is bottom tier, I would say.
Earth is low key the coolest.
No, because you just talked about property damage.
Yeah. That's destructive.
Yes, everything involving the earth bending would be property damage.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, I forgot we're applying this to real life. So
Yeah. What do you want to catch a charge? No, you don't.
Fire, you're going to burn things. So if we're going that route,
So the answer is obviously water. You pick water.
I was going to go water. Water's
Yeah,
the most
water's-
destructive element in the history of the planet.
You ever been in a cave?
it'd be the coolest. I know everyone stood in the ocean. No, if you haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, maybe you haven't been in a big body of water.
Well, I'm familiar with Moses.
Okay, yeah, the OG,
He parted the water.
Yeah, that was his deal.
the
He was
original.
He was a waterbender, apparently.
You know what I would do? I would live
The
stream
first
that.
waterbender
Yeah.
was Moses.
Hey guys, it's Fred down here where my people are, and we're trying to get, we're headed. We're gonna, but this water right here. Therefore, I just stay tuned. Hey chat, should I bend this water? I'm gonna need 100 likes. Like I would do that. That's what I would do. When I said hey chat, I say it was like okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm super
with you.
in.
You hit home.
You
there.
don't want to do that if you're an earthbender, because then you just recorded your property damage.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah.
Evidence.
Creating evidence.
Yeah. It's not a good idea.
Yeah. Hey chat, super excited about making a canyon greater than the grand one. But if I can get $100 donation, I'll reset that effort.
I'll do
Let me know.
Grand Canyon, hashtag Grand Canyon 2.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're in the middle of You Don't Know Where, but if you check my Instagram profile, you'll find it. And no, I'm not doing that because that's what this would end up being.
Yeah.
Now the fire one, now that I just thought about it,
It'd be very cool.
it would be good for like parties.
Oh, yeah.
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 Like you just be juggling it. and-
Camping.
Camping would be good.
But you'd have to be very, very, very careful.
Ooh, you know what? Live events. You just come out there and you stand under the stage and you shoot the fire up in the air when
Mhm.
wrestlers come out,
Hey, I just took a drink of this water. It's not quite warm enough. You know what I could do?
heat it up.
Yeah. That would be the business. All right. I'm going to say I'm undecided, but I'm leaning water because of the Moses thing.
Earth and fire would get you in the most trouble. But air, I feel like the government would want you to work for them.
Air? You think so?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The airbending. Because remember, technically, if you've seen the actual cartoon, Aang was like Gandhi, basically.
Yeah. He just float. I've only seen a little bit of it.
I've seen zero because I'm not a loser.
Right.
I was 12 when it came out. I don't even know if that. I might have been a little younger.
Now, also, if you are, would you say fire? Amerix, the fire extinguisher company, they would sponsor you so fast.
Oh, that's true.
Like there's money to be had there.
Yeah. Yo, guys, if I caught a fire in your neighborhood and you want to put it out, Merrick's.
Now, also, didn't think about this one. You would get like free passes to Hurricane Harbor forever if you were in the
Yeah.
water one.
Mm.
And Hurricane Harbor slaps.
Yeah. I don't think they know about that here.
People are knowing about Hurricane Harbor here, right? Chris, you know about Hurricane?
No, I don't know what that is.
What?
What is that?
Is
I don't
this
think
real?
There's not a Six Flags close enough.
Oh,
There's
You'd have
one-
to- you'd have to travel to one. Cali, Texas.
San Antonio has
Phoenix has one.
Dallas.
Los Angeles?
I know they closed some Six Flags.
Nah, opposite. They bought Great America.
Well, I know
Who
they
bought Great
closed a
America?
couple other ones.
Who bought
did they?
Who bought Great America?
Six Flags.
Oh, it was Six Flags Great America the first time I went.
See, they bought it. Yeah. Are you talking about Six Flags over Mid America?
I'm talking about the one in Chicago area, Gurney. It's called Six Flags Great America.
Yeah. But they also have a Hurricane Harbor there.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Hurricane Harbor slaps.
It's got the wave pool. But see, I always just found a way to stub my toe or scrape my knees and at resorts and stuff like that.
Then you got to get out of the water because you can't get no bloodborne pathogens in there.
Mm-hmm. Chlorine take care of it.
That's not how chlorine works. Got to keep your total dissolved solids in check.
I found it. Bad news.
All right, update.
November 2nd, Six Flags America and Hurricane Harbor in Bowie, Maryland will shutter for good.
No.
Done.
Oh,
That's
crap cakes, man. Chris, you got to go.
Yeah. I got to head out.
You did great today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, this was fun. We don't make enough time. Chris Burnett's the host
Agreed.
of 10 Drink Minimum. You can catch he and his program broadcast live on Sunday nights, immediately to podcast after that. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
He will eventually have me on again.
I'll have you on again.
That's not true.
As the owner of Duke City Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, in a pro wrestling capacity.
Yes.
In front of the show, Howard, to recap pro wrestling in days gone by. You do a good program. Like, there's no punchline to what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
The individuals you get from this community that can speak about this community on topics that are important to this community is excellent, and you deliver it in a way that's consumable, and it's a very smart program, and I enjoy it greatly.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate this program.
How fortunate we both are.
I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be friends with you and, be in a working relationship with you in the wrestling. If you guys have never come out to Duke City Championship Wrestling, you get to meet Fred, you get to meet me, you get to walk around, you get to watch people slam each other on wrestling mat.
Mm-hmm.
What's not the
The only negative is the van is often there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's 2 Men On 95.9 FM and AM 610. Thank you, Chris, the sports animal. All right, welcome back. I was off yesterday. I'm here today. I listened to the show yesterday because I was in a place where I was able to listen, but I wasn't able to be here. And you guys did not touch on, Isaiah, this House versus the NCAA, right?
No.
All right, so this settlement, did you see this?
I did see it, and I wish it applied to me, but it doesn't.
I'm gonna explain it like you're 5, friend of the show. Colleges can directly pay athletes. That's it. That is the explain it like you're 5. Now, if you lack intelligence or if you're lazy or you don't care, all these things count and figure out what this means. But if you want to know in simple terms how you should feel, I'm going to tell you, if it kept going down the path it was on, it was all cooked. I don't know if this is better.
I always, when talking about this, I think it's just because I have ignorance when it comes to the topic because it didn't apply to me.
Yeah.
I always get the whole idea of NIL and college paying these kids mixed up. So in my mind, I'm thinking if they were already getting paid by NIL, it seems like them having another source of payment. I don't see what the big deal is. I feel like the biggest deal is maybe to the kids who have been sitting here like, oh, I wish we had NIL. And then I think some of those kids get back pay. Now, I don't know if they're like dividing up how much each player gets. I would assume they should find some way to maybe do that. But I do know that like athletes either 2016 or 2018 on who have played NCAA football or any of the sports, I don't want to say any, for the be safe, I'll say basketball and football, they get some sort of back pay that's like a portion of the lawsuit settlement, which was how much is like $2 billion or $2 million?
Yeah, $2 billion.
I got some email from Fernando Lobo put out like a statement.
I got that too. State put out a statement. They're fine. I mean, every college put out a statement and said, hey, we're going to do our best to hit the roster rules and we're going to do our best to pay our players. And, you know, we're going to remain competitive in a non-Power 5. Also, if you're a Power 5 guy or a whatever, like, you're still going to get the results you're accustomed to. Now, the lawsuit filed against the NCAA and the House settlement by players, but it's mostly players that should have gone pro at something that's not sports. You know what I mean? This is not the guys this is you. You know, this is college athlete, now sports adjacent. Now, all of them that wanted like extended eligibility and NIL opportunities and they're upset or jealous or whatever about timing in life and younger people, blah, blah, blah. I mean, not a huge factor. Like, Congress will have to step in because college football has to make all these things equal, like you just said.
Yeah. And so I'm reading this. You might have to decode this for me. And this is from this email we got. Am I allowed to just read that?
The one from Lobo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. I wasn't going to. It's fine, but feel free.
Yeah, just this section. Okay, I don't think it's supposed to be it. So it says, for UNM, this will result in an annual 6-figure reduction in our NCAA revenue distribution throughout the next decade. I don't know what that means.
So that means because they're in the Mountain West, money's come in from sharing, right? Well, now you don't have to share as much because you have to spend it on your own players. And now NILs are not going to count. So here's like an example. Like if you were to like too long didn't read, college sports commissioners will be in charge of enforcing rules and will be faster than the NCAA. Cool?
Okay.
Now, CSC CEO Brian Seeley is the new top dog in rule enforcement, and that's a dude who was with the Major League Baseball forever.
So he's got a lot of experience and stuff like this. Now,
the new platform that NIL transactions go through, they ensure that they're for legitimate business purposes and not just recruiting incentives. So, for instance, if you own a company, that company has to be a representative. You just can't be a weirdo super fan anymore.
And you can't just be giving somebody a car unless you're like, you work for you own the dealership.
Correct. Or like you have to at least hit your Instagram post requirements or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Also, talking about here, you can't be like a weirdo from the community that does illegal stuff just so they can hang out with college athletes.
Yeah.
Now, there's a new salary cap, okay? Now, this is the big one. So the new salary cap is 20.5 milli per school.
Say that one more time.
$20.5 million per school. That's wild. And the March 1st deadline for G5 schools to opt into new revenue sharing models is established by that CSC we were talking about. So there's a ton going on here. Now, individual schools opt in and out, not the entire conference. And that's where it gets confusing. So it's all about revenue share stuff.
That makes sense.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. Players are making too much. That's the problem. These schools wanted their cut.
Oh, you think they were making too much? You think they will be after this?
Well, the ones at the high end were. Well, now there's a cap, and you have to give it to like all sports and blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So I like you said, you're explaining it like the listeners are 5. So that includes me as far as this is concerned. So I'm not realizing, okay, so now they have a salary cap. So now coaches have to be strategic with just overflowing the top recruit with a bunch of money.
Correct. And also, not to be this guy, it's like tough because you're only going to have so many roster spots that you can pay student athletes. So it's going to be more cuts to Olympic sports for sure. More cuts to Olympic sports and even more cuts to men's sports because you still have to enforce Title IX. Now, I'm not the guy that needs to go on the Title IX rant right now because actually, I probably haven't done the Title IX rant since you've been on here, but I hate Title IX. Universities that want to do sports for women should do it on their own accord because all of these, not all, a large percent of these universities that are forced to do it, they do it poorly. I know where you went to college, women's sports did not get the effort it deserved because they're being made to do it, not because they wanted to do it. And if you're going to celebrate women in athletics, do it in a way that you want to do it. Also, with this, whatever the roster number is going to end up being, there's going to be cuts because you have to have the balance. So you're going to lose all these men's Olympic sports. You're going to lose track and field stuff. You're going to lose whatever's weird that's not basketball or football. Whole deal.
Yeah.
Whole deal.
Bruce Wayne on the line.
Friend of the show, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, welcome.
Hey, I've been calling talk radio shows for decades, and I've been fighting the whole, they need to have a playoff system and at least 12 teams so each conference is represented. And they're like, it will never happen. We can never do anything like that. Who would even think about that? And then we're having it. And I'm like, now we need to have like a salary cap now that the kids are getting paid so that there's an even playing field in all the other conferences. And you can never do that. There's no possible way. And now that I'm glad they're thinking about doing that stuff. If there's a will, there's a way, and there's a way to make fairness happen. There's always going to be options to do it. You just got to be creative and find ways to make it. But I think that they definitely need to make a salary cap to make it even for all these teams. And it's just more about facilities and recruiting. And then kids can still get paid, but it's about how you manage the money. Like the NFL did this years ago, and the Cowboys were no longer dominant after that. And it's more about how you manage your money. And I think that's how it needs to be. And I think that's the fairness of the kids can still get paid, but it's still about how you manage it. And then it gives the smaller schools those opportunities to be competitive. I mean, we talk about all the time that UNM needs to help their facilities and stuff, but now they have the opportunity to still be competitive if they continue with a salary cap that's for every conference. So I think we should see a lot more parity in college football, which might add to some excitement. Well, but I just had to chime in on that.
That's a good note. Well,
things can happen.
Bruce Wayne and I, we've been talking for years. We know each other outside the show. He's incredibly kind and he's knowledgeable. I had up this idea, Bruce Wayne. Oh, he's hung up. I got this idea, listener, friend of the show. What if it was tiered? What if it was per player, per sport, whatever, however you identify that? Regionally, you can pay guys more. Like, how sweet would it be if Chicago area schools got to keep Chicago area athletes?
Yeah, it's actually funny you bring that up. I don't know how much this ties into this. There is Chicago what's the official name? There is the Chicago college that's opening a Division I football team.
Okay.
And I am very curious to see how that'll work. And then I remember my first response was, who's going to fund the NIL? Because, University, UIC, the University of Illinois,
Chicago. Now, also, Northwestern's already there, Northern is already there, and Loyola. So don't act like there's no Chicagoland D1 football. There is.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I'm interested. That also kind of goes to my point. Because those schools are already there, I'm wondering, number one, like, how is this going to be funded for them to be able to compete with other Division Ones?
That's what I'm saying. If you were like 90 miles as the bird flies or whatever, they can get an extra, whatever the number is. Like that would keep University of Michigan, and that would keep the University of Minnesota, and that would keep the University of the Ohio State, and that would keep all these other schools from taking the top tier athletes in Chicago. By the way, there's a ton. I'm just using Chicago because that's
it. In Illinois, they're all in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then
Cook County.
Yeah, if it's not Chicago, it's Peoria, but outside of there, then it heads down your way.
I mean, put some respect on East St. Louis.
Yeah, I was going to say, then it's down your way.
Yeah.
That's when.
But that's the thing, too. Like, in the D1 programs in St. Louis, not there. Like, you got to go to Mizzou or Illinois, and that's fine. But maybe there's a regional bidding system. I don't know. But that's the idea. If you're going to keep local talent at local schools, I love that idea. I think I'm off the break schedule. I apologize.
All good.
Isaiah's going to figure it out. Will we be back with Sushan, or will we be back?
We will be back with Sushan.
When we get back from the break, just Sushan joins us. Ice Tubs are, well, they're at home. And if you don't go right now, you literally have from now till Sunday. Otherwise, the rest of June is baseball free. It's a weird month. It's 2 Men On. 95.9 FM and AM 610. Hey, Sports Animal.
I'm Fred Slow with producer Isaiah Johnson on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Welcome back to Two Men On. I'm in the studio. Sean's at the ballpark. Joshua, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be joining this fine program today.
Now, of course, Van's not here.
Where's Van?
No, I'm not worried about it.
I'm worried about it. Where's Van?
The official stance is Flagstaff. The radio stance is Hookie.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay.
So earlier in the program, we were talking about Victor Wembanyama going to monk camp. He's becoming a monk. So I thought, Josh, it might be fun to talk to you about some of the most zen baseball players.
Oh.
Does Barry Zito count? I know you were a Bay Area guy. He seemed like he was pretty zen off the field.
Yeah, I covered him when I was a scribe at the Oakland Tribune. I was an A's beat writer for 3 years. Talked to Barry a lot.
I feel like he was the dude who kind of first brought meditation like into the Major League Baseball cool circle. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's my 40-year-old memory.
Your 40-year-old memory is not that far away from the precise truth, because when he first got called up, like all the stories were about like, oh, he brings his own special pillow with him.
Yeah.
He brings candles and incense.
An acoustic guitar. Wasn't he known for that?
Yeah. And it's like, oh, he has this foam thing. What is this weird foam thing that he's always rolling on, right?
Mhm.
And now like everybody like, roll it out, right, with foam.
Yep.
And he did like yoga and like meditation and things like that. And yeah, he wasn't the first one, but he was certainly one where there was a lot of stories that were written about that. And he was also a person where he had some moments where he could be very flaky. And the surest way to get him upset was to call him the F word, the flaky word, in the press or, in an interview or something like that. Like, he did not like that at all.
He wrote a book. Did you read it, Curveball?
I did not read that.
How
Really? He wrote it?
Yeah, so it's Curveball, How I Discovered True Fulfillment After Chasing Fortune and Fame.
Oh,
And
interesting.
it's like a super honest, like transparent thing on failure. Like failure failing forward.
Right.
Anyway, so that's the thing, right? Like there's not just the, hey, you got to be a weight room guy. Hey, you gotta hit the bigger, faster, stronger. You have to only be dedicated to your thing. You can have interests outside of your passion that enhance your passion or profession in this instance.
So we know what I always noticed, though, is that whenever Zito was pitching well, and he won a Cy Young, went to multiple All-Star games, it was, oh, look, man, he's got balance, right? He goes home and plays the guitar.
Yeah.
And then when he was struggling, which he had some moments when he was struggling, right? He was left off postseason rosters by the Giants, and all that. And he's distracted. He's not focused enough on baseball because of all of his outside interests.
There's another story that's this story, and that's Rick Ankiel. Do you have any rich memory of Rick Ankiel? He was coming up with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
He was a phenom on the mound, a phenom. And then hit a playoff game against the Braves where he threw $1 million of them to the backstop, got the yips, as they call it, went back down to the minor league system, found Zen, became an outfielder, and fulfilled through self-awareness, success again, down his passion. And I think it's just a mesmerizing story to me, how that Zen-like approach, even through hostility or failure or whatever, sets you up for what we're talking about, which is balance in life.
I remember Sean Green wrote a book, and it was something about finding balance while trying to hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball or something like that. It was some type of Zen type of thing. So Sean Green was definitely one of those as well. I remember watching the 1991 World Series, and it seemed like every time John Smoltz was on the mound, Tim McCarver talked about he uses this sports psychologist, and it was a big deal that, number one, that he was using it, but number two, that he was honest about using it. And because there for a while it was, I think he's using a shrink. It was quiet thing. Oh yeah, he's got to go see a shrink because he's messed up in the head. And now it's no, it is I think the official title is it's a sports performance coach.
Yep.
Or something like that, which is all about finding your grounding thing. I talked to Antoine Kelly the other day because he just seems like the chillest dude, and he's pitching the ninth inning, and he's like, actually, I'm super amped up. And I'm like, really? Well, how do you control it? And he said, sometimes you just look for something on an outfield wall that can sort of ground you. And he goes, sometimes it might just be a pebble on the mound that I'm looking for. And it's something like that that'll just like take me back to like square one.
That's so funny you just mentioned that to me. So this is the weirdest personal story. I grew up recurve archery, right? I grew up like in really intense recurve archery because my dad was weird. And that was always part of my focus, was finding, like, because there was always the hay bills. It was finding like an individual straw of hay. And like, that's so interesting how similar that is because of that clear the mechanism. You know, it's how you get there. And also you talking about John Smoltz in 91, he's a young blood, you know, because also coming to my mind was Satchel Paige, who was always the old man, but he was like a block dad. You know, I don't know if it was Zen for himself, but there was always like conversations about how you could go to he, and this is obviously old timey baseball talk, but how you could go to he for, you know, wisdom and advice and philosophical sayings or whatever. And maybe that wasn't for himself, but for others, you know, so Zen, cool part of sports.
I think for a long time, the only people who were allowed to give opinions were like the best players, right?
Sure.
Like you were not a coach in baseball in say the 30s, 40s, 50s, unless you were a really good baseball player. And then as time went along, it became, well, the better you were at baseball, the harder it is for you to relate. Like the superstars can't be great managers, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Dusty Baker hated that, right? You know, because first of all, Dusty was like, yeah, I was a superstar. And some people might be like, okay, you know, you were good. You made a couple of all-star teams. But I don't know if you were a superstar, Dusty. Right?
Yeah.
So it'd be a really fun way to like get under Dusty's skin. But that was very much the thing. Like Pete Rose doesn't know what it's like to not be able to like get 4,000 hits, right? It's hard for them to relate. And I think that in baseball there for a while, it was like the only people we're going to hire are people who played professional baseball. And then they started hiring people from colleges. And then they started hiring people from Driveline and from these other labs. And now it is very much, we don't care what your background is. We don't care what your gender is. We don't care about anything. All we care about is, can you make us better? And also those superstars made so much money, they don't have any desire to come back and coach.
That's so funny you mention it like that, because obviously that's my motivator to work. You know, I love radio. Would I do it for free? I would not. You know, so it's you get there the way you get there. The one last name I had on my list, what I was giving you was the guy who did win a Cy Young and was at the top, but I don't think ever was considered like an upper echelon guy, was R.A. Dickey. Like an R.A. Dickey, like who threw the knuckleball and was an English lit major and just had like all these other approaches to life too. Just kind of wild to me again, how it just falls outside of the stereotype. Like guys who have found a lot of success have done it with non-traditional approach, and Victor Wembanyama seems to be doing that now.
Are you ever aware of like how R.A. Dickey like ended up throwing the knuckleball?
Hey, he had a bad elbow, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. There was a cover of Baseball America that he was on, and he had been drafted. And then the team that drafted him looked at this photo of him, and they're like, something looks weird about his arm. So they went in to like examine him, and they realized that he had like this issue with his arm, with his I can't remember if it was elbow, shoulder, whatever. But whatever it was, like this photo happened to highlight it. And it was like, this is going to be an issue. He got way less money as a signing bonus because of that. And sure enough, like he had this problem. And that's what eventually forced him to become a knuckleball guy, because he was like a first-round phenom type guy.
Now I know. You got
Baseball America. Cost him a lot of money with that photo.
Well, it eventually worked out.
Yes.
The only time the Oklahoma City, not Dodgers, Comets come to town is this week. It's the only homestand of June. It's a big one for the Isotopes this week, Josh.
So we have 2 weeks left until the first half ends, and then we go back to records of 0-0. Oklahoma City is 1.5 games out, so Isotopes can play spoiler and make sure that they do not go to the playoffs.
That's fun.
And yes, that's fun. It's fun that Austin Gomber, Rockies pitcher, is on a rehab assignment tonight. And, you know, just in general, I feel like, you know, you kind of want to, when you get that reset and everyone's record goes back to 0-0 in 2 weeks, you want to feel like, okay, we were playing good ball going into the end of the first half, and now let's see if we can carry that over.
Speaking of playing, who's playing short?
Not Ryan Ritter.
Yep.
Because Seaman up to the. So here's the other thing. I was actually just looking at my scorebook for last Wednesday. This goes to show like how fast rosters change. Just from last Wednesday at El Paso, Ryan Ritter, he gone to the majors.
Yep.
Sean Bouchard, he went to the majors. Now he's back.
Welcome back.
Braxton Fulford,
yep.
He went to the major leagues.
Sam Hilliard.
He's gone to the major leagues. That was a few more weeks past, but also Keston Hira just like 10 days ago went to the big leagues. And then Yanquiel Fernandez has been banged up. He's missing his third straight game. Warming Bernabel's had to miss a couple of games. And so, like, you look at the offense and you're like, man, they scored all these runs in this game, and then they didn't score so many in that game. What's going on? And you're like, oh, yeah, the roster just completely changed. Welcome to life in AAA.
Well, like you and I often do, we got lost in baseball talk. You got Pilo on the pregame?
Correct. We talked about Ryan Ritter and Austin Gomber.
There we go.
And a few other things.
Please have a very zen broadcast.
Ooh, well, I got a plant that's nearby, and let me see if I can find some incense.
I can't wait to sink in. Thank you, Josh.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's a Pearl Jam reference there, Isaiah. Must be your zen. I'm sinking in.
Noted.
I got you. Final words?
Go catch Kiki Garcia throwing out the first pitch today.
I'm going to run out. Is that real? I'm on my way.
Kiki is throwing out the first pitch today, so you got to try to beat it.
Bet it's a strike. No doubt in my mind. Or Van Nunley, who's not here. Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.